Salve, this is Curio, Blood Bowl 2nd edition from Games Workshop Minotaur. And this is one of the Minotaur sculpts. And I have him set as a Blitzer position because I have the red around the base and he has a silver base. So I think he's one of the teammates or maybe one of the ogres that I did a bit ago. But yeah, this is a Minotaur, and you can see I really like Minotaurs. And Minotaurs, you know, they tend to be covered in a certain way. You know, they tend to be kind of bloody. And yeah, this is from when I'm 13 years old. This is from like 88, 89. So I was a big Game Workshop fan. I was a big fan of Blood Bowl. I still have Blood Bowl. I'm probably going to play. I think I'm going to build some teams. So I like the big uns. I'm a real fan of big uns. I really love Minotaurs. I always thought Minotaurs were cool. Minotaurs were like some of my favorite things to play. Even in Advanced Hero Quest, or AD&D, or Dungeons and Dragons, I'd often play a Minotaur. So you can see this is a pretty cool Minotaur. And this is, I think he was on one of the same teams as some of the ogres, because he's got the silver thing and stuff. And this guy was number 12. And now I'm going to show you who was number 13. So I'm going to show you number 13. And I'll move number 12 out. And this guy is a number 13. And he has the same base coloring and stuff. So it's possible that he's on the same team as this guy, or like the teams that I use, because I'd oftentimes like swap in the big uns with like other teams. I'd mostly play chaos teams, and basically the big uns would usually count as 2 players, but all these are set as blitzers. I think some blockers, or maybe some whatever, but since I have the red base, I was using them as blitzers. I think the problem with the Minotaurs is if you want to throw like the snotlings, and I'm not sure if you could throw goblins too, they would like eat them, and there's also like blood rage and like blood gore or something. Like when they kill somebody, they'd eat them, or you know, they could go berserk or something. Like there were some drawbacks, but I'm a big fan of Minotaurs, so I think there was 4 Minotaur sculpts. I have 1 more Minotaur, and the last Minotaur is like really big. This Minotaur is like the Minotaur from fucking, he was like the Star Player Minotaur, but I'll talk about this guy. But you could see Minotaurs always had a lot of blood, because you always wanted to do like almost if they had like the blood gore type thing. So yeah, this is from, I did this when I'm like 13 years old, so you know, it's not the best paint job, but I only had like 5 to 10 paints at the time. So what the paints I had, you know, I did what I could. And some of the paints actually chipped off, I think. You can kind of see the horns a little bit. But yeah, you know, I mean, this guy's almost... But now, this is the real Minotaur. You're about to see the big deal. The real deal Minotaur. This Minotaur you had to buy. You had to buy like it was one thing. And you could just see what's about to happen. This Minotaur is all red. It's like, look, I have to back up for this one. This is the Minotaur. I think he was the one that was based on the Star Player. And you had to buy, I mean, it's possible that I used him as a blocker because he has the green pad. But you had to buy this guy, and it was like a single pack, and then you had to glue them together. So like he's actually glued together, like the base, like this part. He's glued together basically. And you could see like right at the waist. So look how big this guy is. I mean, this guy was like the star. He was a Star Player Minotaur. So this probably cost me 10 or 20 bucks at the time. And I mean, you can kind of see he's even got like, it's hard to see under him, but he's pretty cool. I mean, he's just running through everything. So yeah, I think there was 1 more Minotaur sculpt, but I don't think I have that one. But like I said, I was really a big fan of Minotaurs. I always loved Minotaurs. I was pretty good at the Games Workshop games, so this guy, I'm not sure what team I had him on. I found one of my old teams, like the Grim Reapers. As you can see, 13 years old, I only had the best names, right? So like I said, this is actually kind of cool. I mean, he's pretty cool. You know, he's got like a pretty cool action pose. So yeah, this was probably the one that cost me the most out of all the Blood Bowl figures. So this is 2nd edition Blood Bowl, and like I said, this is really 13 and up, because this probably has lead, you know, probably pewter. It's definitely metal. But like I said, I did this paint job when I'm like 13 years old. I mean, I'm looking at some of the detail on the back, and it's really not that bad. I mean, I don't think you can really see it on the camera, but it's really not, you know, it's not that bad for like how old I was, and for the paint job and everything. You know, it's pretty decent. Like I said, This one cost me the most. And you know, some people try like, oh, you can't use this, or you can't have those players, or whatever. I played at this comic shop. I was in a league. I was like the best player in the league. I pretty much won all the games I can remember. I had all different teams, but I always liked the big guns. I always thought the big guns were cool. I liked chainsaw loonies. I thought they were pretty cool. I just couldn't stand dwarves. But I actually have a lot of dwarves because one of my friends, I think Tom, he gave me all his dwarves. Like, he couldn't paint them. He had all this like weird blue paint on them, so I was stripping them. And so I got a bunch of other figures. I mean, I have like another 20 or 30 Blood Bowl figures. I have my Dark Side Cowboys teams. That's the only team I ever got. That's a Drow Elf team. So I like Dark Elves as much as I really like Minotaurs. I like Dark Elves. I had mostly Chaos Humans. So I have mostly Chaos Humans. I have some Skaven. But it's really hard to get Skaven for other positions, like thrower Skaven or like a catcher Skaven. Basically all the Skaven were like linemen. You could use them as mutants. And I think I have a Blitzer Skaven. But anyways, this is one of my favorite figures. And yeah, I appreciate anyone that's watched, and I'll try to give you a little bit more of a picture on him, because you could see he's actually pretty good. But like I said, I don't really have a camera that's going to do this justice, but you can kind of see some of that detail on the back. It isn't really that bad. You know, he's a pretty cool figure. But yeah, I appreciate anyone that watched this long. I just wanted to, you know, because he's hunched over, so it's really hard to see him compared to some of the others. But you can see I did some detail, some decent stuff. And remember, I did this paint job. I'm 13 years old. I had limited paints. You know, my friends had the good paints. So I did the best that I could at the time to make him passable, and you knew what team he was on, and he looked half decent. And, you know, like I said, I've seen worse paint jobs, I've seen better. But for a 13-year-old that had really no skill at it, I think I did it right. Thanks, and take care, and I appreciate everyone that's watched this far. Thank you. Take care. Bye.